and everyone else does it on Halloween and adopts a policy, then maybe we revisit. But um, I think I like the consistency of the fourth Thursday rather than oh wait, it's on Halloween and half the people think on a Friday night it's going to be trick or treat. When no, because it falls on Friday, we're going to go to the preceding Thursday. So I think for consistency, and people who have been here, a lot of residents have been here their whole lives, know it to be Thursday. So I think for now I would stick with Thursday, and then if we become the only municipality not to have it on the fourth Thursday.
It's actually about half and half right now from our neighboring municipalities.
Oh, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet to the October.
It seems to be regional too. It's the folks this way are still sticking with Thursday, and the folks that way seem to be moving more toward Halloween night.
Well, two things. One is this year, two is a policy for the future. If you're looking for immediate feedback, I would say at least for this year to keep it Thursday. If anyone wants to do a different policy, I'm not married to it. It's not something I'm very passionate about.
Well, I'm really good with just having the consistency of the Thursday for right now. It sounds like Commissioner Karen is.
Yeah, and I liked Commissioner Putz's idea that if we end up being an outlier, that maybe we revisit this and figure out something that might suit our residents better.
I don't want to blow Commissioner Karen's mind. So,
Well, it sounds like Commissioner Karen's asking
Thursday,
you to blow her
Thanksgiving,
mind.
or trick or treat on Monday?
Wow, get to buy candy.
All right, so we're sticking with the last Thursday of October. Will do.
We don't need to vote on that.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry I didn't catch it.
No, we don't need to vote on that.
No.
All right. Commissioner reports this evening. Before we do that, we are going to have an executive session, I'm assuming to be updated. Will we be taking, is there a possibility we would take action after the executive session?
Yes, I would.
Oh, okay. So we'll, after Commissioner reports this evening, we'll recess to executive session to talk about the Town Place Suites tax appeal. And we'll start this evening with Director Hall.
And I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Solicitor, anything before executive session?
No, but I'm sorry I have an executive session. It's a beautiful summer evening, and you guys have been so efficient with the public hearing and everything, so I promise to be very brief.
Thank you. Director Davis.
Nothing this evening.
And
Thank
thank you again for everything this evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Eby.
Nothing from staff position, but from the Watershed Association. We had our successful cleanup on the 31st, last Sunday, a week ago. Got our record 23 tires out of the creek, many of which were in my canoe, which made it rather hard to paddle. And we had a good turnout. We're pleased with it. And I want to thank Low Round specifically for tire recycling.
Excellent. Director Grove?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Okay. Renee, anything this evening? Mr. Manager, anything?
Nothing further.
Okay. I'll just quickly ask, any of the captains have anything this evening? Okay, thanks. Commissioner Nagy?
I just want to thank everyone within the township and all the department heads and departments for National Night Out and everything that you guys put into it. It was a great turnout and I think a well-received one after a several-year hiatus, so thank you.
Commissioner Kutz?
Briefly, Mr. President, just want to echo Commissioner Nagy's sentiments on National Night Out. It was great having so many colleagues there. I always appreciate the opportunity to, visit with staff outside of the township building and, see the apparatus in action. And I think it's a great event, especially have the police car, lights and sirens on. I think it's a great recruiting technique for fire. You never know which one of those kids is going to climb up into a fire truck, blow the horn, and decide I want to be a volunteer firefighter. So thank you for all the hard work that goes into that. Very much enjoyed. Secondly and finally, Mr. President, I was very saddened to hear about the passing of our former K9 Rocco. Captain Crone, to the Scarlato family. We know how much he meant to the department and to their family. And I'm deeply sad and offer my sincere condolences. If it would be appropriate at the next meeting, perhaps. I know we did something when K-9 when he was retired. I don't know if it'd be appropriate to recognize his passing, not only for the service to the township, but also as a missing feature from National Night Out. I remember my first National Night Out. I think I stood there for an hour and watched Officer Scarlato, at the time officer, do a demonstration with Rocco for the kids. So very sorry for Rocco's loss and for the Scarlato family. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Karen?
Yes, Mr. President, I also echo my condolences for the passing as well. And I also want to just say thank you to the department heads for, in particular, for this evening's education and presentations. I found them to be very informative and helpful. So I just want to say thank you very much to all three of you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Black?
I want to say also that I would like to see a remembrance celebration for Rocco. He was a sworn officer, and I think it's only appropriate. And I remember when we had open houses, especially in the fire bays here, and I would greet someone who brought children. They didn't care about any of us, but they wanted to see the puppy. So I think it would be very appropriate to have some kind of a remembrance of Rocco. Rebecca, I have a question for you. We again tonight had a request to not utilize landscape areas that receive stormwater. Is that going to survive in the new stormwater ordinance?
They can still ask for a request for modification, but it is a requirement to provide them. So they can still come before you and ask for a modification to that requirement. That's in the SAUDO, yes, and that's in the subdivision land development ordinance. You're right, and it won't be a specific requirement in the new Chapter 184. No.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I appreciate that. I would ask that you do chip in when we get that request, if you think it's a good idea or not.
Yep.
I personally like the idea, but I would ask you to either support it or not. And that's all I have, Mr. President, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would also like to echo the sentiment on Rocco, and sorry about Rocco's passing. I know that we had some community partners that have supported the K-9 program in the last 6-7 years when that was active for us. And so I also appreciate the support we got from the community. And I did ask, I think, the captain about whether or not we'd be doing, or I'm not sure if it was Director Hall recently, about whether or not we'd be looking at a K-9 program in the future. But I also agree that we should do something to recognize Rocco's service. So if we can have something proposed, that would be nice. Maybe even a nice picture on our screens or something of Rocco when we have that presentation in the future. I also attended National Night Out, and just outstanding job by our staff and the community partners and Christian Life Assembly, who hosted it again this year. I mean, they went all out. Christian Life Assembly, they did all kinds of booths and giveaways, and nobody walked away from that event hungry, I can tell you that. But we were well represented in Lower Allen, and I got several comments from residents and other folks that came to visit us. One of the county commissioners made a comment and said, "This is a good one." So kudos to all those that put the work into it. And I would like to specifically make note of Diana Nisley, who really coordinates much of that event. But Public Works shows up with some outstanding looking vehicles that just reinforces to the public that they're there too, and that's really good. And of course, both fire departments are represented, police, EMS, the 411 program was there. And I think as the more community outreach we do with those things, the more the public's going to know as well. So we get the credit. Sometimes people were thanking me for such a great event, and I was just honest and said I really didn't have much to do with this event, and gave the credit to those folks that really were responsible for putting it together. But kudos, everybody. Thank you so much for representing Lower Allen, making Lower Allen represented in such a pristine way. It was an outstanding event. Thank you. I attended the Lisburn Fire Company monthly meeting this past week, and I just want to make a note out there, and I thank them near the end of the meeting for how much work they put into everything. They have their festival coming up, and often we think of Lisburn and we think of just the festival, but they're a pretty good operation out there. I think Greg Black's doing an outstanding job. You're starting to see the signs for their recruitment effort go up around the township. I know one was laid on my doorstep this morning. I knew it was coming. It's in my yard. They're actively pursuing volunteers, as well as Lower Allen is right now. And I think Lisburn's having some pretty good success with it. And I just wanted to let everybody know I thank the folks at Lisburn, both the fire service side and the volunteer social side, so to speak, kind of on behalf of all of us for their hard work. So, and I look forward to their festival that's coming up. I think all the commissioners at some point are going to be volunteering this year. And so we're all excited to represent the board in Lower Allen Township at the Lisburn Fire Company Festival, which takes place Wednesday through Saturday of this coming week in the evenings. And finally, I would just like to say thanks to staff. This was a good meeting, and I thought the public hearing went well. Thank you for all the good information, so that we can be well informed, so that we can make good, sound decisions. I'm going to recess to executive session to discuss the town place Okay. I'm reconvening this Laurel Allen Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting of August 8th, 2022, after a brief recess into executive session discussing Town Place Suites tax appeal. And we're coming out of executive session, and I believe there may be a motion coming out of the executive session.
Mr. President, regarding the Town Place Suites by Marriott, I move that we authorize the solicitor to settle the tax appeal of Town Place Suites by Marriott for an assessed value of $10,900,000 for a 3-year period.
And I'll second that motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Nagy. I have a second from Commissioner Karen. Is there any discussion, questions, or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.